Hey y'all, and welcome to Mindful Mama. If you're new here, I'm your host, Mia, a 36-year-old single Black mom, a full-time college student, full-time employee, and navigating this wild world while having ADHD. If you feel like you're doing the most with having the least, well, this is the space for you. Again, per always, I do want to thank everybody who has taken the time out to follow me on Instagram at Mindful Mama Podcast, and also following me on YouTube, liking, resharing, just everything that you guys have been doing to support me in this podcast. I appreciate you. Last week, we did talk about juggling it all, what it looks like juggling it all, from morning routines to work to everything that us moms, parents have to do to show up not only for ourselves, but for our kids and for our families, and what that looks like. And you already know, if you watched the last episode, that my biggest struggle in the mornings is going to be my son. I love him to death, and I will always do whatever I have to do for him. But that little joker definitely gives me a run for my money. But we're going to keep it moving. Today, we're digging in on how ADHD looks for Black women, emotionally, mentally, culturally, and why many of us do not get diagnosed until we're grown. So for me, for example, I did get diagnosed with ADHD when I was younger. I can't remember exactly what age. I remember taking medication for a short period of time, but then I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I stopped or whatever. I just know life continued to move on. And I'm not going to say that I didn't struggle, because I definitely struggled in school for a very long time. I got through, I passed. Was I an A student? Absolutely not. More like a BC student. Graduated high school and everything like that. Tried to go off to college, but mentally, for whatever reason, I just couldn't lock in. Some people, school is just for them, but for whatever reason, for me, it just wasn't. Just everyday life was still a struggle. And as I continued to get older, I started noticing things getting a lot harder, but I did find ways to manage it. I think that it kind of more so was like a survival skill. Like I just rolled with the punches, I should say, of life, in the things that I was experiencing with not being able to mentally do what I guess society thinks I should be doing in certain scenarios. There was a lot of times that I found myself, feeling really lazy, very scatterbrained, not being able to put my thoughts into words, not being able to focus on one thing. Over the past, I would probably say, year and a half, I started having issues with my memory. And I mentioned in the last episode about using a planner and how that was something that really became such a big part of my life. It's because I was getting to the point where I couldn't even remember things that happened a week ago or months ago, let alone. And it just got so bad to the point where I'm just like, yo, is something wrong with me? Am I getting sick? I'm gonna ask my mom, hey, did we have this running in our family? What is going on? And I'm telling her, I'm like, maybe I need to go get looked at. Maybe I need to get checked. Maybe there's something going on inside of me that I don't know. And it's kind of scaring me, because why can't I just remember what we just talked about yesterday? That's kind of how bad it was getting. Why can't I remember these things? With life, continuing to move on, and me enrolling myself in school, I think that's kind of when I was just like, whoa, something's not right here. I already knew something wasn't right, but something really is not right here. And I had a friend on Instagram, and she always would post things about ADHD and adults and women and things like that. And I just would comment, because I'm like, I feel that, that's exactly how I feel. And then, me and her started having a dialogue over Instagram, and she was just telling me how she had went and talked to a psychiatrist and she had got diagnosed with ADHD. And she provided me with the information to speak to somebody. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Whatever. I'm like, I need to figure this out because I'm in school. Like, I really need to lock in with school, like work. I'm working from home, kid, yada, all the things, right? So again, because my memory was still bad at the time, I kind of put it off for a minute. And then I think something clicked and I was like, girl, get it together. Like, reach out to these people. So, it was all online. It's a teledoc situation. And so I set up my appointment. And of course, I think my appointment was like a week. No, not even a week. It was like a month later or whatever. But again, I knew I had an appointment, had it in my planner. I had it already set. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, the struggle gonna be real for a minute, but I gotta do what I gotta do. I've been going through the motions for this long. Like, why not just, continue? So the day came and the doctor was just, asking me all these different questions. Do I have trouble focusing? Do I feel like, I'm procrastinating, not being able to get tasks done and this? And I mean, all these different things that she was saying. If you ever have spoken to a psychiatrist, in the realm of looking to get diagnosed, there's a lot of questions that you're just like, dang, yes, that's me. Like that's me, And then when she was talking about memory, and I'm like, ma'am, like, I feel like I'm going crazy because my memory is just shot. And then sleep. Listen, I had been struggling with insomnia for years. I don't think a lot of people knew that, but I have been struggling with insomnia for years because, like, my mind would not shut off. Like, I would have trouble going to sleep. I would have trouble staying asleep. And then I would always wake up in the morning exhausted. Even though, yes, I did go to sleep that night, I'm exhausted because, like, I never fully was able to get rest because my mind was constantly going and going and going. So that was like a big struggle. And, me and her, like I said, we had this dialogue. We talked about a lot of different things. And she, she commended me because she's like, wow, like, you're working, you're a mom, you're going to school, like, you're doing all these things. She was like, I know, like, not being able to focus and do what you need to do. She was like, I'm sure that is a huge struggle for you. And I'm like, ma'am, you have no idea. You might have an idea, but, like, you have no idea. And so, that whole situation took place, and that initial conversation was like, okay, like, I could breathe a little bit. Like, she didn't give me my initial diagnosis, but through talking, like, we knew. Like, we knew what was up. And she was like, okay, well, the next visit, like, I'll give you your diagnosis. We'll talk about next steps and everything like that. And then boom, like, the next appointment came, and the medication and stuff like that. And I'm gonna just be 100% honest with you. Like, starting off, it's not gonna be easy because, one, they have to see, like, what dosage works for you. Like, if you need to do the extended release, the instant release, I'm not gonna get into all of that, but just know, like, it's not gonna just be like a quick fast fix. It is gonna take at least a couple months before you're like, okay, this is getting better, or this feels better, this feels right. But I'm glad. I will say that I'm 100% glad that I did it because I feel so much better now that I have taken that step. Now, I will say that with Black women, not even just Black women, let me scratch that. I will say that with the Black culture in general, when it comes to mental health, when it comes to these type of situations, these are things that we never, and I had this conversation with my dad last week, or no, yeah, like last week. We never talk about these things. It was never a space for us growing up in the Black community to talk about our feelings, to talk about our mental health, to talk about what was going on. It was always one of those things where, you just dealt with it. You just brushed everything under the rug. You just made it work and figured it out. And I think that with the way the world is now and how mental health is discussed so freely, that I feel like we need to step outside of that box that I think the community has created for us when we were younger, because now society has made it different. We're a lot more open about our mental health. We speak out more about how we feel, and I think that us and the generations that were pressured to always be put together, to always be strong, always be capable of doing this and doing that, like we need to let those walls down and open up and realize that sometimes there might be something a little bit more. Like there might be something that's wrong. There might be something that we need to seek help with, to talk to somebody about whatever situation might be going on, and not be afraid at what that might look like when we do. I think the thing is that a lot of us think that we have to be silent because, again, talking about mental health, sorry, I'm just gonna veer off for a minute and just say that this week has really been a difficult week for me with my mental health. And again, this is a safe space, right? This is what I created, to be vulnerable, to be open, and didn't think that this episode, I should say, was gonna happen, because I've just been dealing with life and the situations that I'm just trying to process mentally, and just taking on so much. But that's just what I do. Take on so much. But again, sorry y'all. Eyes getting a little watery. But I'm good. I just had a moment. But again, society has put us in this box that has made us be so silent about our mental health, which again, I created this space for us to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's dive in on what's going on and really put ourselves out there to come together to find solutions, you know? I don't want to be like the generation that was before us. I don't want to be like how my parents had it, where they just had to suck it up and roll with the punches. I tell my son all the time, if you're feeling any type of way, talk to me. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to have feelings. It is okay to express yourself. If something is not right, let me know, or let somebody know. Talk to somebody, because again, back in the day, that's not something that we did. That's not something that was okay. And for not even just women, but for men, I feel so bad, because I've talked to a lot of Black men, and they are they just don't know where to start. They don't know what to do to be able to open up to somebody. And that saddens me that they're not comfortable speaking about their feelings and about their emotions and the struggles that they're going through. And I hope and I pray that anybody that is struggling with those type of feelings are able to find someone, that able to find a community. I mean, you can even reach out to me if you're a man and you're hearing this and you are struggling with these situations. I would love to help you. If I can't help you, I would love to put you in contact with somebody. But, I'm here. Now, with dealing with ADHD and in Black women, that can show up in so many different ways. One that I see a lot is the emotional dysregulation. Being told that you're too sensitive, you're too moody, you just can't keep it together, or you just got too much going on. I'm sure you've heard that plenty of times. Overthinking, having that feeling that you are going to be judged, you are going to be seen as being weak or failing, which we all know that's not true. Another one would be, and I guess this is my favorite, is hyper focused versus forgetfulness. Like with that, I feel like you could be killing it in one area and completely be forgetting something else. Like, for instance, I could be great at staying on top of my social media presence, but forgetting to do some things at work, or making sure my son is schoolwork is on point, like he's making all A's. But then for me, I am forgetting to turn in assignments. I mean, it can go many different ways with that. But it's a thing. Like you can be so hyper focused on one thing and then turn around and be completely forgetful on everything else. Another would be masking it. And I think this is one that I probably do the most, is masking how I feel or masking whatever I'm going through. Because when I'm not the type of person to ask anybody for help, I'm not the type to, I'm not the type to ask anybody for help. Like I always will try to figure it out, do it on my own. And that's why this has become such a big deal to me, because I've been open about my life over the last few years, but I don't think I've ever been this open. And so, yeah, trying to make sure that, I seem like I'm on it all the time. Like I got everything together. Yeah, it's not always. But I definitely know I do put on that mask, and I do have a smile, and everybody thinks, oh my gosh, like she's just, no, I'm really not. Like this week, I don't even think I masked it. I think like I just kind of shut the world out, because again, like I'm dealing with things internally, and it's just like the world for a second got so loud that I just needed to shut myself in. Another symptom, and again, I did mention this with, how I was feeling, is chronic fatigue and feeling overwhelmed. Like when you're suffering from ADHD, and like I said, your brain is constantly going and going and going, especially at nighttime. For whatever reason, it just seems like it cranks up and just goes to the max. Like you will be tired because you're unable to relax. When it's not even bedtime, when it's time to just relax and sit down, like you're thinking about the a million other things that you might have to do. It might not be that day, might be the next day or next week, but you're constantly going through in your head everything that you need to do, and you're struggling with relaxing. You're overwhelmed by the things that you might have put off because you're so tired, you know? And if you're feeling like that, just know, like, these are true symptoms. These are things that could potentially mean that there is something just a little bit deeper that you need to look into. The next thing I want to talk about is the problem with being misdiagnosed. And this is something that I've noticed went on with me for a very long time. Why so many Black women are misdiagnosed or diagnosed with things like anxiety, depression, or nothing at all is a big thing. Like for me, I was diagnosed with depression for years. I took medication for years, and I don't even think my parents knew that, honestly. But I took depression medication because I knew, again, something was wrong, but I could not pinpoint it. So when you go to like a primary care physician and you're telling them different things that you're feeling or experiencing, automatically they're going to think that it's depression. Like, are you feeling, I don't even know what questions, honestly, I'm not even going to lie, but they have these list of questions that they ask, and they're like, oh, this could be depression, da 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 da. Like, let's put you on this medication. And then if you've ever taken depression medication, it can make you feel suicidal. Not even gonna lie to you. So the depression medication can either make you feel better if that is the actual situation, or it can make you feel worse. It can cause sleeping. It can make you feel exhausted, which that's one thing that I experienced was the suicidal thoughts, the tiredness. Like I would take my medication and immediately I was exhausted. And it's like I thought this was supposed to help me, not make me feel worse. And then anxiety too. Like you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling very anxious. And it's not because of whatever reason that people have anxiety. It's because that you have so many things going on and your mind won't shut off. You're just going mentally. And that's the situation. It's because of ADHD and not because of the anxiety. You're feeling down and overwhelmed and saddened and exhausted, not because of depression, but because of ADHD. And unless you like actually say something to the doctor about ADHD or ADD, like we really just say ADHD because whatever. But unless you talk to the doctor specifically about that, they're going to go down the line of anxiety or depression and they're going to treat that. And then in some people can cause other issues. Hence why they are being misdiagnosed and causing more problems. I think there's a lot of stereotypes when it comes to ADHD because I think most people, when you're mentioned like, oh yeah, I have ADHD, they're thinking you're like that little kid who's like super hyper, who just can't stop, who's just always on go. And that's not the case. So like for my son, he was never one of those like super really like anxious type kids. He just had trouble focusing like me. But once I got him on his medication, like he was able to lock in and have no issues. So I think like that's something that a lot of people don't look to, or a lot of women, I should say, don't look to go get treated themselves because they think like it's this hyperactive child or this hyperactive person, and that's not the case. Like it could be a focus issue. And a lot of times as parents, as mothers, focus issues are something that are a problem. And not only is it, a stereotype, I think it's a lack of representation, a lack of research specifically for Black women. There's research out there about ADHD and different articles and things like that. But I don't think, because we don't see a lot of people like us talking about these type of things, we don't feel as comfortable or prone to go seek that help, to go look for those answers to help us figure out what's going on in our life. And I know for me, when I was looking into it, like I didn't. And, of course, I'm looking at what ChatGPT says, what Google says, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that sounds like me, but is it? Like, maybe it's all in my head. But again, until I had that friend who was like me, and I'm just like, okay, like she's suffering like I am. And, we're the same. So I think, I want women or people who are like me. And I can only speak, let me say this before I finish. I never wanted this to just be strictly about being a Black thing, but because of the fact that I am an African American woman, I am a Black woman, that's all that I know. Like I can only speak on my experiences based on my cultural background, So when it comes to looking at things, I'm looking at it from the eyes of a Black woman. So if anybody who is watching this who is not a Black woman, never take away that I'm only one-sided. But again, I can only voice this side of the situation. Or, this side of the experience, this side of the situation. Yeah, I'll say that. But again, I am here for everybody. I think it's super important that if you are seeking help, that there is self-advocacy. Especially when your doctor or whomever is not listening to you, and you know that there's something wrong, and you know it's not anxiety, you know it's not depression. Like, hey, like, listen, there is something going on and I need you to help me. And I didn't do that when I was going to the doctor. And like I said, like, for years I was struggling and having issues and getting medicated for something that I won't say that I don't have, because I do have depression. I've struggled with depression since I was in high school, and I just kind of dealt with it. Yeah, we'll save that for another day, another story, another time. But just know, like, it is something that I dealt with. But I knew that when I was going to the doctor and speaking to them about certain things, that's not what I was talking to them for. Like, it was because I was struggling on focusing. I was struggling on getting things done. I was struggling on procrastination. So always make sure that, like, you speak up for yourself, because they're not going to do that. They're going to get their money one way or another. And if they're prescribing you medication for this and that and not really getting to the root of the problem, asking the proper questions, ask for a referral. Hey, can you send me a referral to somebody else, because I need to see what's going on. Now, I do want to talk about, how I'm coping and how I'm still learning to deal with these things. ADHD is, I feel like with ADHD, there's so many different things and different tools and ways to cope with it that I'm still learning. I'm going to preach a planner all the time. You'll probably hear me talk about a planner on multiple episodes, and I'm sorry. If you're tired of hearing about a planner, oh well. Because a planner is where it's at. Like, a planner is going to help you, especially with having ADHD and trying to just go about life. Like, everybody needs one, whether you use it on your phone, whether you're using it in a book, whether it's the one that hangs on the refrigerator or the wall. Like, a calendar, my bad. A calendar, planner, same difference, but get you one. Okay. Therapy. Ooh, listen. Go to therapy. Talk to someone. I will tell anybody and everybody to go to therapy, because there's a lot of things, just like I said earlier, there's a lot of things, just like I said earlier, with like our cultural background, of things that we had to suppress in life, that some of us really needs to open up and talk about and release. We have childhood traumas. We have different things that have went on in our life and could be still going on in our life now, that we need to talk to somebody. And I think that talking to somebody that is looking from the outside in can give you a whole new perspective than what you might be used to. Like, talking to your friends and talking to your family is cool, but these people know you, so they're already gonna have this pre-existent, like, thought about the situation or you or whatever. But you're talking to somebody that knows you a zero bit. that knows nothing about you, right? They know nothing about you. So when you're talking to them and you're telling them what's going on, you're telling them how you feel, like, one, it's freeing, because who cares if this person judges you? They gonna write it in their notebook, but they're not gonna remember. Some I don't know. I don't know how they do it, but it's freeing for you, because you get to unpack so much. You get to basically release all this weight that you're having on your shoulders, and you kind of putting it on somebody else, or you're giving it to somebody else to unpack with you. And I like how they start where it's like layer by layer, like they let it kind of go at your own pace, but they have their questions that'll kind of dig deeper. And I really like that, because you can talk to them about anything. And I want to tell you, if you go to therapy, be 100%. Like, don't hide nothing. Like, tell them exactly what it is, your thoughts. Tell them exactly what might have went on whenever. Like, again, go to therapy. Medication. Again, you already know. Medication is something that, yes, I definitely support. Um, there are other ways that people say that they can manage their ADHD. And if there is something that you find works for you, go right for it. But I totally support medication. Support groups, safe spaces like this. You can always DM me on Instagram. You can always leave a comment. Like I said, I do post these videos on TikTok as well. Like, you can reach out to me, but find support groups, find people, find like minded people that might be going through similar situations to help you. I mean, you can't do everything by yourself. What do they say? It takes a village. It literally takes a village for everything. And people are always say, "Oh, I can do this by myself." I mean, why? When you got people that can help you. And I'm starting to realize that, like, asking for help is not a bad thing. Like, it doesn't make you less of a person to ask for help. Now, with also um coping with having ADHD, like, making lists, to-do lists, like, are really good, because I feel like, once you have your ADHD on track, a to-do list is gonna do nothing but help you be more organized, help with the procrastination, really kind of get you, if you're, getting more focused, then you see, have a plan laid out that, like, I need to do X, Y, and Z or whatever along with that planner, because you might have a field day of this and that, running around with the kids, the family, yada, yada, yada. But having that to-do list is going to help you, and it don't have to be in some specific order. If you are that OCD and need it in the order, hey, more power to you. But do you a to-do list. Put things on paper so that, one, you don't forget, and two, you could check it off. And you know what? That should give you like a feeling of accomplishment. Once you knock something off, it's like, yes, like, I'm moving, like, I'm getting things done, and you should feel good. Like, you should feel proud. Like, yes, I am not being lazy. Like, I am actually making things happen. Um, and we always that's gonna be something that I'm still working on. I'm still perfecting. Every day is a learning lesson. What I want people to understand and realize, that having ADHD, or, getting help with ADHD, or learning how to maneuver life, like, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, you're okay. Like, this is not a bad thing. It's just neurologically, we are just built a little different. And that's okay. I want to be different. I don't necessarily want to be like everybody else, which, I mean, we're in the category of ADHD. We are like each other, but in our own different ways. And that is okay with me. I want you to realize that we are in this together. Remember, we are in this together. Us as parents, us trying to figure out life in our daily struggles and the things that we are experiencing, and just trying to get a grasp on what's going on with us. Just know, like, you're not failing. Like, you're not broken. Like I said, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of if you realize or get diagnosed with having ADHD. Like, for my Black people, for my Black women, get out of the stigma that you are weak. If you open up and discuss your feelings, if you open up and discuss your mental health, I applaud you for being vulnerable, for stepping outside of that box that our world has put us in. Like, good job for you for sticking up for yourself. You are not alone. Know that you are enough. You are important. It's okay to want to do better for yourself, which will then turn around and make you do better for your family and for your children. Give yourself some compassion. Understand that you're not going to be perfect. And I think I said this in the last episode, like, things aren't perfect. This episode is not perfect, but we continue to show up. We continue to do what needs to be done for ourselves and our family. And I just want you to know that I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us for getting up each and every day and taking on whatever challenge life has for us. So just know that. But my time has come. Send in. If you vibed with today's episode, do me a favor and make sure that you subscribe. Share it with a friend or family member or somebody that needs to hear this. Make sure you also go follow me on Instagram at Mindful Mama Podcast and leave a review. Tell me your thoughts. Connect with me in the DMs. Tell me your story. Tell me what has been going on with you, some of your struggles. Let's see if we can come together again to find a solution to whatever problem that you might be having. I'm here for you. And again, as always, I thank you for your support. Thank you for watching this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Y'all be blessed.